Hello and welcome to part 4 of On the Canals with Londonist. I'm back for this final part. Some of the astute amongst you may have already noticed that this is a railway line and not a canal. Don't panic, there's a reason why.
This final part of our walk along London's towpaths takes us out west and quite literally through some remote backwaters that we bet you've never been to. But don't worry, there are still some great things to see here.
I said at the end of part 3 that the canal is more industrial. Actually, it is quite nice. There are some industrial parts, but look, it's lovely too. Please do come and walk this length of the canal, if only to see little things like this. We're heading west for Ballsbridge Junction, and the canal does actually have mile markers. Look, here's one of them here, tucked away. You can almost miss it. A 5, meaning that there's 5 miles to go to Ballsbridge Junction in that direction.
If you are going all the way to Ballsbridge from this point, it's worth remembering that this is one of the best places to cycle along the towpath, as it's much quieter out here than it is in central parts of town. We walked all the way on foot though.
Hello, welcome to Hayes. Welcome to Ballsbridge Junction. Welcome to this famous white bridge opened in 1801 at the opening of the Paddington Arm of the Grand Union Canal. This is where the Paddington Arm starts. We made a video on Londonist a short while back called Do You Live in London? We talked about phone codes and postcodes. To me, this is also a perimeter of London, because where the canal comes up to here and then goes down there, that's all London to me. That's out to the Midlands, that's a far way away. That's another way of maybe defining what London is. If you come with me though, this is a great shot that you want to see. If you come down here, and if you look through the arch of this famous white bridge, it's just quite a nice shot, where you can see all the way up, and that is 13 miles to Paddington. And you have to remember that in 1801, when this opened, this was a massive community of boats doubled together, of industry, of people, you know, barges carrying coal and horses, and now it's a quiet place to go for a walk. But yeah, Ballsbridge is kind of a corner. It's a junction of London, and a significant junction of where the canals meet.
At this point, we headed east, heading towards the Thames, back towards central London.
We are at Bridge 205 on the canal. We're in Hanwell at a place called Three Bridges. This place is brilliant. If you only come and see one thing out of all the things I've shown you in this series, come and see this. Basically, the Great Western Railway had their line going in and out of London, but in 1856 had a branch going down to Brentford docks, but they needed to cross the canal. They turned to Brunel, their brilliant engineer, to say, can you fashion us a bridge? I imagine he probably said, can I? Easy. Not only did he make him a bridge, he made a bridge where the road went over the canal, which went over the railway. 3 in 1, 3 bridges. Come and see this place, it's brilliant.
It's also known by the road that crosses it, the Windmill Lane Bridge. And it was the last engineering project that Brunel ever undertook, as he died just 2 months after its completion, and is now classified as an ancient monument. The railway that passes underneath it is the little-used line down to what was Brentford Dock Station. It closed to passenger service in 1942. The line is still used today for the occasional freight train disposing of waste, and sometimes rail tours that come down here.
And that is the reason why we started the video on a railway line, because up there is the Three Bridges. This is the single unelectrified track that runs down to Brentford down there, and I think it's one of the few places in London where there aren't any barrier gates that you can just walk across a railway line. Don't worry, we weren't trespassing, but we just couldn't not go and look at a railway. I hope you forgive us.
A little further on, and the canal has some history that deals with a hospital.
We're in Hanwell still, and we're at the Hanwell Flight of Locks. There are 6 locks here that rise through 53 feet. Quite impressive in itself, but the thing I want to show you is over here on this wall. See this concrete arch and these bricks? Yeah, look, that's filling in an archway that used to lead into what? Well, behind these high walls, nowadays, at Ealing Hospital, and there's the NHS mental health unit, and they give a lot better care, I suspect, to what they would have given back in 1831 when the first London County Asylum opened. Yeah, so people, patients that were coming into the asylum, probably never to leave again, would come in along the canal via boat in here through this archway in the back way. Thank goodness it's blocked up nowadays.
Just after the Hanwell locks, the River Brent joins the canal. Actually, the river is the canal, apart from a few sections that were straightened, and it's off on one of these unstraightened sections that we find our last thing.
So this seems like a military-style pontoon bridge which I'm walking across, but it is across the water because this is the Brent. It's a little loop off of the canal. The canal is behind me just down there, but this is the Brent, the river that feeds it. And as you might be able to see, I'm under a road. We went to the Three Bridges today for a railway. We've seen that, the river obviously. It seems fitting to end with a road. I would have never have found this spot, this amazing place, had it not been for the canal, because I was walking along the canal one day, and as light was fading, I headed for the nearest tube station, Boston Manor, which is just over there, and you come through Boston Manor Nature Trail, which just happens to sit right beneath the M4 motorway. That way is Wales, that way is central London. And that is why I love the canals, because you find things, hidden places, secret places that are off the beaten path that you never would have found if you hadn't been walking along the canal path. So get out and explore the canals of London.
The canals and waterways of London are definitely a hidden gem, towpaths tucked away alongside the water which date back to over 200 years in some places, and there are always odd and intriguing things to see along the way. We thoroughly recommend that you take a canal walk sometime soon.